with additional tune-up matches built for New York and Florida against Greece and the United States. On June 3rd and June 7th respectively, the Super Eagles' journey to Brazil 2014 is beginning to take shape. Of course, Hotsports, as official media non-match partner of the Nigerian Football Federation, is fully on ground to bring you exclusive visuals as we go into the camp of the Super Eagles to bring you all the behind-the-scene developments. That will, of course, put you in that sensational mood for Brazil 2014. Don't forget the Super Eagles are also set to confront Mexico in Atlanta, USA in a few weeks from now. Welcome to Hotsports. It promises to be another exciting episode of the program this Saturday.
Like I said, it's a wonderful thing. I didn't do it alone. It's a team game. A beautiful woman, you must expect some guys, you know. But we'll wait till after Shan. I don't know. Agents call you. Do you want to play? Yes or no?
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know. Many. It doesn't matter. I want happiness. Anywhere that suits me and makes me happy, I play them. Nigeria, they believed in me. When we play qualifiers and stuff like that, they believed in me. Only that in football, once in a while, you lose your form, but what makes you great is for you to bounce back. So they believed in me. Yeah, I don't really know. I think I did my best in the first game, but you know, football, sometimes you get 100%, sometimes you get 80%, but you don't need to discredit yourself. But I think it's God that did it all, and I'm so grateful. Continue praying for us, because we've seen the effect of their prayers in our previous games, and we still hopefully that they will still pray for us and we'll keep working hard.
At the limit of your ability, you need to replace the electrolytes you lose in sweat. Give your body fuel. Keep your body hydrated. Lucozade Sport hydrates and fuels you faster than water. Lucozade Sport.
It's now time for the main issue on Hotsports today. Of course, we have been hearing of the provisional 40-man list suggested to Coach Stephen Keshi as he begins to look ahead to a successful camp for the Super Eagles of Nigeria as they prepare for Brazil 2014. But Keshi has said a 40-man squad will be too large. And of course, we have linked this development to our main issue on Hotsports today. We asked on the program, for Brazil 2014, NFF wants Joseph Yobo, Osaze Odemwingie and Ike Uche to get a look in from head coach Stephen Keshi. Is this a salutary intervention or an unwanted interference in team selection? It is the main issue on Hotsports.
Super Eagles head coach Stephen Keshi says he would not be naming a 40-man World Cup squad because the number is too large. Keshi had been reportedly told by his employers, the Nigeria Football Federation, to name a provisional squad of 40 for summer's Mundial in Brazil. I don't need a 40-man squad, Keshi said. I just need a number that will not distract us from what we want to do, but it won't be up to 40. Of that number, Keshi says that up to 5 could come from the bronze-winning Chan team. Everybody will have equal opportunities to get in the team that goes to the World Cup, so everybody will have to work hard. Despite finishing third, Keshi says he remains proud of the efforts the players put in. They were great. People don't realize how hard these boys worked, but they gave everything, and I'm proud of them.
Not with that taste. I'm so happy with the boys. Over these 3 weeks, I will call it, they've grown. They've really grown to beginning to understand what I want, and the mentality they begin to express the game is exactly what I want. I'm happy with them. Losing the semi-final is normal to everybody that you would like to play the final, but actually the major goal for us here, for me, is to expose these players and see if I can get 1 or 2 players that will make the World Cup in 5 months' time. And I've seen a lot, and I know there are more than I can see, so I'm good.
And to trash out the main issue today will be Biola Kasim, and Chuka Izwegbuna.
Hotsports cranks up the heat this Saturday with fresh sports news and incisive analysis, backed by exciting visuals. Hotsports, your unique source of sport information, education and entertainment, inimitably delivered via hot, scorching argument where no one blinks. Don't miss it.
I find the recent moves by the NFF to try and get in people like Joseph Yobo, Ike Uche, or Odemwingie into the reckoning, and if possible, list of players that will be invited for the World Cup by Coach Stephen Keshi, almost unbelievable and quite baffling. I mean, this is a man who has proven to all of us time and again that he totally understands what he's doing as far as, managing the Super Eagles is concerned. And the least we can, allow him do is select the players that he's going to use, at the World Cup to go on around and try and get in people like Odemwingie, Ike Uche, or Odemwingie, players who the coach has left behind and who hasn't, necessarily stopped him from achieving fantastic exploits, back into the team. For me, smacks of I'd say idleness, because I mean, if you're really, really busy with your work, you let the coach do his work while you face your own work. To try and be meddling and interfering, essentially, like I said, is disrespect. And these are the kind of things that we hear that usually precedes shambolic outings at international tournaments. For the sake of all Nigerians, I would like the NFF to just leave the coach alone. Clearly, he's a man who knows what he wants to do. If you think he doesn't know his job, then fire him and hire somebody else. At no point in time should the NFF try to get in on the act of who to invite and who should appear at the World Cup. That clearly is the purview and the job of the coach.
I wouldn't necessarily see what the NFF are trying to achieve for the Super Eagles ahead of going to the World Cup in Brazil 2014 as meddling and interfering. I think they should be commended for what they are trying to achieve. Yes, all hands must be on deck to ensure that the Super Eagles do very well at the World Cup. And because of that, if they are asking that the coach should invite certain players to give them a second chance, after all, the coach himself has said that all these players, he has forgiven them whatever crimes or sins they've committed. He has said time and time again that Yobo is still part of his team, is his captain, that Ike Uche, that he will give him a look in. So if the NFF says, okay, call these guys into the selection process of forming the team that will go to the World Cup, I think they are within their rights to suggest names to the coach and to help him out in achieving his goals. After all, we're all paddling in the same direction. We all want the same goals. We want Nigeria to do well at the World Cup. So if the NFF are saying, try this player, give this player a call, look into this angle, look at this situation, I think they are within their rights to do that. And they are only trying to help the coach, and they are not meddling. I've not heard in anywhere or heard them say at any time that they are imposing these players on the coach. It's still up to the coach to decide whether he will take these boys to the World Cup or not.
I think it's very, very simple. There are some things that the NFF can participate in as far as the Super Eagles is concerned that will not be termed as meddling or interfering. For instance, if they discuss with the coach as to issues of camping, when to camp, all of those logistics, clearly that's within their purview, and that clearly is one of the things that they are supposed to. But when it comes to players who will play for the Super Eagles, that is 100% the job of the coach. It doesn't need their counsel, it doesn't need their advice, it doesn't need their meddling, it does not need their interfering. For many years we have seen all of this interference go on and nothing ever has been achieved. When he went to South Africa, Chuka, let me learn, when he went to South Africa with a team of 17 debutants, a lot of the guys in the NFF also, had their doubts. When he dropped Joseph Yobo, they had their doubts. Eventually, he was justified. And so this man has shown us, Chuka, this guy has shown us. Also, if you look at the recent chant, going to the competition, a lot of people were talking about how this player is not playing regularly, this player is not the best we have to offer. But somehow, Keshi crafted a team that that was competitive and ultimately, that did not disgrace us. If anything, they brought some pride, to Nigeria.
The issue is this: I was saying that the NFF cannot, at any time or in any
yes, that's what I'm saying. They are not supposed to.
They are not imposing on the
coach.
coach.
Can I ask you a question?
They are not imposing on the coach.
What are they doing?
They are trying to help him out.
How?
By giving help. Can you advice?
Chuka,
Biola, see,
can you help me? Can you help me pay my house rent?
No,
without asking you.
No, Biola.
Do I not have to ask you first?
Biola, for instance, if I give you money,
Chuka, there is help and there is interference.
No,
help usually is requested for. Interference, however you want to couch it, however you want to position it, however you want to put it.
It's not all the time.
Truth of the matter is, when you are suggesting,
Biola, first of all, it's not all the time you request help. There's sometimes you need help.
Does Keshi appear like he's in trouble?
Wait, let's take it.
Does he appear like he's in trouble? Answer the question first.
Let's wait.
You go where you want to go. Just on the way.
Let's take it.
Does Keshi appear like somebody who needs?
You're jumping the queue.
No, you're the one jumping the queue.
Let's take it.
Just quickly answer
one at a time. I'll answer the question. I'll come to your question. But let's look at it this way. I give you money to pay your house rent, and I still see that, okay, there seems to be some issues. I have a right to ask you.
You don't have a right to ask me.
To ask you.
You do not.
Why?
Well, because you don't have a right. I haven't come to meet you, Chuka. Let's put that analogy aside.
Let us have come to meet me.
Chuka,
That's
Chuka.
just what you said.
That's the main... Your analogy is baseless.
Wait, the main issue is that they have
Chuka,
employed...
Your analogy does not work here because Keshi has not asked.
That's why you asked me. You said...
Keshi has not asked. That's what I'm saying. Have I asked you?
You use an analogy of
until I ask you, Chuka. Until I ask you, it's none of your business.
Wait. It is the NFF business.
How?
First of all, they employed Keshi.
Okay.
They have not imposed players on Keshi.
If you know that you can back,
they have only advised.
Chuka, if you know that you can back, why did you buy a dog? If they can do the job, why hire the coach? They should take over the team.
If I buy a dog and it's not backing, I can find out. I can try and find out what's wrong with the dog.
Unfortunately for you, Keshi is doing more than backing. He's actually biting.
Yes, but
so will you go and relax? Will you go and relax and wear your brother?
Have you saying
and travel all over the world?
Are you saying that?
Is that not what they do?
Are you saying that Keshi has achieved his fullest potential?
He's the most successful Nigerian coach ever.
Yeah, but he can do better. Are you saying
we don't know that yet?
Are you saying he cannot do better? The players that played at the Chan were clearly, well, they tried, but it still means if we can get help anywhere, we should get it. Yeah, so if Odemwingie, Yobo, Ike Uche can add to this team, then they should be called.
Chuka, the only person in the world who can decide if they can add or not is the coach.
But are you saying the
NFF
can we just
leave him alone?
Are you saying that the NFF are imposing these players on him?
Chuka, what else are they doing?
They are not imposing. They are suggesting. They have never imposed on Stephen Keshi.
Chuka,
and if we see players anywhere in the world, let me come in.
You can be half clever. Let me tell you the way they are going to do this. And the coach has come out now to tell all of us that he doesn't want a 40-man squad. That he wants a shorter list of players so that he can work directly on them. The way they will try and squeeze these players in, Chuka, is that they will be pushing, and we hear that they're already pushing for a 40-man squad. First of all, financially, that's more money for them because they have to arrange logistics and all whatnot for the players. But more than that, they have more than enough space, so to speak, to fit in all of these players and make it appear as though, coach, you've got 40 players to work with, eventually come out with 23. Look, the coach has said to you, Chuka, that's the truth.
But there's no evidence to back up all this. These are assumptions.
What I'm saying,
the NFF has
might be assumptions. Say, yes, they are informed assumptions.
Right
because
now,
these guys are previous.
Right now, they are assumptions.
They are previous.
Biola,
the coach has said, I don't want a 40-man list.
Yes,
I have a group of players I want to invite so that we can get down to the business of sharpening our edge and be ready for the World Cup.
The coach has
the
said
NFF are talking about a 40-man list. When you have a 40-man list,
if you have
must populate
anywhere in the world,
all sorts of players.
If we have players anywhere in the world that are doing well, they are playing good football. Yes, they are Nigerians. We can't suggest them to the coach.
Who is we?
The NFF, you as a journalist, you can't suggest them to the coach that we have a player who's playing well in Italy. Why don't you give this man a look in? You can't suggest it, but it does not mean that you're imposing on the coach. We need all the help we can to do well at the World Cup. The fact that Keshi is succeeding, has been succeeding, does not mean that he cannot fail.
No, Chuka.
It doesn't mean that he doesn't need help.
But there's some method to his success.
Yes.
That method has not included help from the NFF, has it?
He has not said he doesn't need the NFF's help.
But he hasn't said he also needs it.
Yeah,
I find this slightly preposterous.
It's up to Keshi to say, I don't want these players in my team.
The coach has said, I don't want a 40-man list.
But he hasn't released
the
list of players he wants.
Well, he hasn't released. Does he have to?
He can take the advice and say, okay.
Mention any country in the world that has released their list. This is February.
Thank
you. So Keshi has not broken any law. The point
neither has the NFF.
Is that the coach has said
neither has the NFF broken any law.
The coach has said I don't want a 40-man list. The NFF are coming and they are saying we want a 40-man list. The key thing about the 40-man list is that it gives room for them to populate that list with all sorts of players who are not, because
in as much as
Chuka, it is clear. The coach has an idea of the players who want them to be World Cup already.
In as much as your information seems informed,
it's informed. It's not even seems. It is informed.
But right now there are assumptions.
No, they are not assumptions.
That cannot be proven here.
Look, Chuka, is it a fact that the coach said he doesn't want 40 players?
Yes, it's a fact.
Is it a fact that the NFF want 40 players?
The NFF has suggested players to the coach.
Chuka, have you also not read?
If the coach wants,
have you also not read that the NFF want a list of 40 players?
Biola, see.
Have you not read that?
I've not read that.
Well, I've actually read it.
Well, if the coach wants 30 players to camp, and the NFF say we suggest these 3 names to you, it's up to him to say, okay, these 3 players, I can take them in and remove another 3 players. It's entirely up to the coach.
So we're already choosing.
So it's up to you can't tell the NFF that they can't advise, they can't suggest, they can't help the coach that they are paying to do a job for us.
Truth of the matter. is that anything you do in terms of player selection, identification, scouting, you should just leave that. That's standard practice all over the world. Even club managers, people who own and run clubs, the moment you think that the coach is not doing well enough, you don't say, look, why did you bench this guy? What you have to do is to fire the coach. Because it is a known fact all over the world that in terms of selection of play, in fact, you are not a manager if you are not 100% in charge of your selection. If anybody anywhere is suggesting, is meddling, is interfering, they are essentially sabotaging you, and they are ensuring that your position is becoming untenable by the day. So if you sit here and we are
there's a difference between a national team coach and a club coach.
Okay, help me here. How many times have you heard of any other national team coach in the world having players being suggested to him by any member of the NFF? The world is a global village now. You can do all of the Google searches that you want to do. You never ever find this happening. These things are anomalies.
It happens.
Like where?
For instance, when Brazil refused to use Romario, people kept journalists, people, they kept saying, why are you not using Romario? Romario should be in this team. The coach stuck to his guns and said, no, I'm not using Romario.
And how did that end up? He didn't take Romario.
Yes, he did.
Exactly.
So, but it didn't stop people. It didn't stop the FA. It didn't stop journalists.
But it was an unnecessary distraction because what you are suggesting.
Let's forget whether it's a distraction or not.
It is a distraction.
They felt
because what you are suggesting
that Romario is one of the best players that they have.
But the critical thing is that the coach at that point in time had no use for him. Because when you keep suggesting this players, you know what you're saying, Chuka? What you're saying essentially is that what the coach has got is not good enough. And that is not a vote of confidence
Biola,
on those players.
You and I understand football better than a whole lot of people out there. Yes, we know. They will tell you in football parlance that you don't take your best players to a tournament. You take your best team. So at that time, I agreed. Romario would not help him form his best team. And he decided to cut him out. The FA might not understand that logic. The people might not understand that logic. But they are still within their place to say, take Romario. This guy is good. He's playing well. He's scoring goals. The coach, he does not need to explain to anybody that this is the reason why I'm not taking him. I just don't want to use him in my team.
The reason why I'm raising the alarm that I'm raising is because we know our people. When you talk about this Brazilian scenario, you have just romanticized it. You have painted it, in good light. Truth of the matter was that all of this Romario issue was something that disturbed that team seriously and ensured that they didn't particularly achieve their potential. Truth of the matter is that particularly coaches who have a track record of success, the best thing you can do is to leave the man alone. He can see Yobo just like you can see him. Yobo has just joined Norwich. Osaze plays for Stoke City. I watched him against Manchester United. Ike Uche is scoring goals for Villarreal. In the La Liga. You can see him as much as I can see him. But the truth of the matter is that in terms of selection for the national team, the coach has got the liberty to discard whatever player he wants. And
nobody is questioning that liberty.
Chuka, these liberties are being trampled upon because we do know the NFF. Once they start on this path, usually they don't stop. You know that.
But Biola, let's give it.
Because that is the reason why. That's the reason why they are campaigning for a 40-man list. Biola, when the coach has said he doesn't want a 40-man list.
Let's be fair.
Confusion is already setting in.
Let's be fair.
And even though right now it sounds like the way you're making it sounds like counsel, it sounds like good-natured suggestion. We know that there are.
Biola,
they are sinister motives. We need to be alive and awake.
Yes,
to danger before it becomes clear.
Like I said, Biola, I agree with you also. But like I said, these are assumptions. But at the same time, let's be fair to this NFF. It's not been particularly a rosy relationship between the NFF and the.
It can't be rosy. They owe him 7 months salary.
But at the same time, with them. But at the same time, it's not really been a very turbulent.
Because Keshi has been very intelligent. If you owe a man 7 months salary, he's not even supposed to pick your phone call.
That's why
he should not even talk to you again.
That is why
because essentially you are an enemy. How can you owe somebody for 7 months? How does he feel?
That's besides the issue.
Well, there is an issue. I'm just explaining to you why
the issue we are talking about.
Keshi must even be respected for the maturity with which he has handled all
of
these issues.
And it is because of that respect.
So don't further provoke him.
It's because of that respect that they are suggesting. We've seen the NFF in their elements where they impose players on coaches.
Well, they can't do that to Keshi because his track record speaks for him.
Yeah, but it's out of that respect that he's been mature, he's been succeeding, that they are saying, see, why don't you look at this player?
No, I find that insulting and degrading for a coach of the stature of Stephen Keshi to be having players that we all can see suggested to him. Does he not know about Yobo? Do they know as much about Yobo as he does? Was Yobo not in camp with him in South Africa?
They don't know as much as him. Yes, but they don't.
Does he not know about Ike Uche? This was somebody who came out and told us that Ike Uche is not good. He's not good.
if we put a phone now here and tell people to call in and make suggestions, you will get 1,000,001 suggestions.
And that's the reason why I won't put a phone. That's why we have somebody whose job it is.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say is that those people are winning their right to say whatever they want to say.
They should be more mature because they are not fans. And even if they are going to make any of these suggestions, those suggestions should never ever make their way into the pages of newspapers.
We know how
news media.
We know how all these things get into the media. We know. Biola, you're in this business. We know how it gets into the media.
If you don't want to get into the media as well, it will never get into the media.
Biola,
if you don't want to get into Chuka, are you saying that you cannot do things on the down low if you really want to?
Let's even forget.
Exactly.
You can't. But the issue
I'm saying that the issue is
Chuka,
for it to be strong enough to get into the media, Chuka, is not a suggestion.
Yeah,
it is not a suggestion. There is a plan, and I will not be surprised if this thing leads to a crisis. Because Keshi sounds to me like a man who stands his ground. Because he has said clearly that I don't want a 40-man team.
They have not imposed players on him. He has said yes, he doesn't want the
40-man list.
They are suggesting.
The first step,
the big difference between suggestion and imposing.
So, Chuka, the first step of imposition in Nigeria is usually suggestion. After suggestion, and you look into the media, you hope that you will get a groundswell of positive public opinion, and then you will now start a campaign to pressure the coach, because that's the reason why they are pushing for a 40-man list. It is clear. The coach says, I don't want a 40-man list. NFF says you must release a 40-man list. It's simple. Read between the lines. Read between the lines. The coach is saying to you clearly that I have a team in mind. The NFF are saying, we know you have a team, but also take some other players along. It's clear. We are brewing trouble unnecessarily here. People are
we've not even reached the stage of the World Cup. We are still in the preparative stage of whether we're going to who we are going to the World Cup, how we are going to the World Cup.
No, Chuka, but the forces are already becoming, it's becoming clear who is thinking. The coach clearly looks to me like somebody who has an idea. Chuka he has an idea of a team he wants to take to the World Cup already.
Yes.
The NFF says that he does. And so, to make room for all of these players, the Yobos and the Osazes and the Ike Uche, they are saying, coach, make sure that we have a 40-man list. Yeah. Basically what they are saying, Chuka, because you see, when you have your team, let's say Keshi has an idea of about 30 players, and then there are 10 other players that he has got to take along to camp. That's where you can get in people like Joseph Yobo. If the coach comes out tomorrow and say, if he said to Keshi, give me a 30-man list, he already has it in his head. But when you now throw in 10 more bodies, then he can get in Yobo, he can get another, you get them all to camp, and then you start a process of essentially destroying team spirit even before you get there to walk up. How does that help us?
Where is it wrong for the NFF or any body to say, coach, yes, this release a 40-man list or bring out this player. You make a suggestion and the coach says, no, I don't want, which he has done.
Hotsports cranks up the heat this Saturday with fresh sports news and incisive analysis backed by exciting visuals. Hotsports, your unique source of sport information, education and entertainment, inimitably delivered via hot, scorching argument where no one blinks. Don't miss it.
Well, on the final whistle today, as preparations for Brazil 2014 continues to gather momentum from the perspective of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, what is your thinking before that team list is released in terms of the friendlies? Do you want a large party that will accommodate the big-time players like Yobo, Osaze, and of course Ike Uche, who have contributed their best to the team at different times? Or do you want a closely knitted small team that Stephen Keshi can manage? Or do we really need these three in the team for now? Why not join us through our social network platform and through SMS, and we'll be very glad to air your views on this issue. That's how far we can go on Hotsports this Saturday. We'll be back again next Saturday.